The House of Representatives was electric, charged with anticipation and political maneuvering. As the clock ticked past midnight, lawmakers gathered for a crucial late-night vote, the atmosphere thick with tension. The subject of the debate? President Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill, a piece of legislation that had become a lightning rod for controversy. The legislative process dragged on and on, stretching into the early hours of the morning, fueled by passionate arguments and unwavering resolve. The extended debate served to expose the deep and seemingly unbridgeable divisions within Congress, highlighting the stark ideological differences. In a move that grabbed headlines, Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries took to the floor and delivered a marathon speech, a powerful statement of opposition. Over 8 hours, a feat of endurance and a clear signal of the Democrats' determination to fight the bill. Jeffries' filibuster-style speech was aimed at delaying the vote and spotlighting the fierce opposition to the bill, making sure every voice was heard. The filibuster-style speech pushed the final vote, testing the patience of everyone involved. The final tally was delayed to nearly 3:30 a.m., a testament to the intensity of the debate. Finally, when the votes were counted, the fate of the bill hung in the balance. The bill ultimately passed, but only by a razor-thin margin, highlighting the deep divisions. 219 to 213. A difference of just a few votes determined the outcome. Speaker Mike Johnson barely managed to unite his party, a sign of the challenges he faced. The vote revealed fractures not just between parties, as expected, but something more concerning. The vote exposed deep rifts within the GOP itself, showcasing the internal conflicts and ideological battles. Every single vote was hard-won, requiring intense negotiation and compromise. The entire process underscored the high stakes and passionate debate surrounding the bill, reflecting the deep divisions in the country. For Republicans, the passage of the bill represented a significant step toward fulfilling their campaign promises, a victory for their agenda. But for Democrats, the outcome was a bitter disappointment. It was a stand against what they vehemently called a dangerous bill, a fight they were determined to continue. The night's high drama in Congress set the stage. It set the stage for a broader national debate on the direction of America's future, a debate that promises to be just as passionate and divisive. At its heart, the bill represents a fundamental reshaping of government spending and taxation policies. It's a comprehensive piece of legislation designed to leave a significant mark on the nation's financial landscape. A key component involves boosting funding for both military operations and border security enhancements. The aim is to substantially strengthen national defense capabilities and exert greater control over immigration processes. These measures are intended to provide a more secure environment for the country. At the bill's centerpiece are major tax cuts, primarily extending previous reductions, designed to stimulate the economy. The promise is that these tax cuts will spur economic growth and lead to more take-home pay for American families, boosting consumer spending and investment. However, to offset the costs associated with these tax cuts, the bill slashes funding for vital social safety nets like Medicaid and various nutrition programs. This has sparked fierce criticism from those who argue that it disproportionately impacts vulnerable populations. Supporters, on the other hand, contend that these spending cuts are absolutely necessary to rein in what they see as excessive government spending and mounting debt. In addition, the bill addresses the looming threat of a government default by raising the federal debt limit, allowing the government to continue meeting its existing financial obligations. The bill also rolls back some of the existing green energy incentives, potentially impacting the growth of renewable energy sectors. Furthermore, it introduces tweaks to state and local tax deductions, which many fear will add further complexity to an already convoluted tax system. Critics are particularly concerned that the cuts to social programs will disproportionately hurt vulnerable Americans, including the elderly and low-income families. However, backers of the bill hail it as a crucial step towards long-term economic prosperity and a more sustainable fiscal future. Given the bill's sweeping changes and potentially far-reaching consequences, it has quickly become one of the most contentious pieces of legislation in recent years. For President Trump, the passage of this particular bill wasn't just another legislative item, it was deeply personal. It represented a key promise he had made to his base and a cornerstone of his economic agenda. To ensure its success, he lobbied hard, engaging in direct conversations with wavering Republicans and pressuring them to fall in line with the party's official stance. He left no stone unturned in his effort to get this bill across the finish line. Despite his forceful push and the weight of his influence, the GOP found itself significantly split on the issue. The proposed legislation exposed deep divisions within the party. Moderate Republicans, particularly those representing swing districts, harbored fears about the potential impact of deep social cuts included in the bill. They worried about the consequences for their constituents. On the other side of the spectrum, hardline conservatives and members of the Freedom Caucus argued that the bill didn't go far enough, demanding even more stringent austerity measures and deeper reductions in government spending. Speaker Mike Johnson found himself in a precarious position as he scrambled to unite the fractured party and bridge the gap between its warring factions. He engaged in intense negotiations with both moderate and conservative factions, attempting to find common ground and secure enough votes to pass the bill through the House. In the end, nearly all Republicans ultimately backed the bill, demonstrating a degree of party unity, at least on the surface. However, this support only came after intense behind-the-scenes wrangling, concessions, and compromises that tested the limits of party loyalty. Democrats, under the leadership of Hakeem Jeffries, remained steadfast and stood united in their opposition to the bill, presenting a united front against the Republican agenda. They vocally criticized the bill, characterizing it as a blatant giveaway to the wealthy and well-connected, achieved at the direct expense of the most vulnerable members of society. The ensuing debate on the House floor exposed a stark and fundamental philosophical divide within American politics. One side firmly believes that the bill represents a crucial step towards fostering economic progress and stimulating growth. The other side views it as a callous and detrimental attack on the social safety net, disproportionately harming those most in need of assistance. The bill's narrow victory served as a stark reminder of the significant challenges inherent in governing a deeply fractured Congress, where partisan divisions often overshadow common ground. While President Trump's influence was undeniably clear throughout the process, the episode also laid bare the significant internal discord and ideological fault lines that continue to plague the Republican Party. With the vote concluded, the battle lines for the next political fight were firmly drawn, setting the stage for future clashes over policy and power. This bill is more than numbers. It's a statement about America's direction. For Trump and his allies, it's a promise-kept strong defense, low taxes, and a booming economy. Supporters say it means more jobs and security. Critics warn of real harm to those losing social benefits. The bill's impact will be felt in paychecks, healthcare, and food assistance across the country. It crystallizes the core debate. Should government shrink and cut taxes or protect the social safety net? The House vote is just the beginning. This fight will shape the next election. How Americans view this bill could decide the nation's future. The stakes couldn't be higher. With the bill through the House, the Senate is next, and nothing is certain. Senators will debate, amend, and possibly send it back, prolonging the drama. Across the country, Americans are split. Some praise the bill as bold reform, others protest its deep cuts. The legislation has become a litmus test for candidates and voters alike. Its fate could energize both parties and shape the political landscape for years. The bill touches every major issue: taxes, healthcare, security, and the role of government. What happens next will affect every American's wallet and well-being. The debate reflects a nation divided over its values and future. The outcome will reveal which vision of America prevails. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and hit the like button for more updates.